Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
But as you can see on the screen, huge game tomorrow, Man City against Man United. I'm thoroughly looking forward to that as a neutral, Joe. I know that you're quite nervous about it.
I'm not.
Super Sunday, it should be a cracking game. And as you can see, the infamous Saturday Social whiteboard is out because we're going to have a bit of fun with this next part. John, do you want to explain? There was a bit of a combined 11, but with a twist this week, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we did a combined 11 last week ahead of the Carabao Cup final,
Yeah.
didn't we? Today we're doing a bit of a combined 11 with a twist. So instead of just doing a combined 11 for this season, we're actually going to be doing a combined 11 for the Premier League era between Manchester City and Manchester United, which is no easy task. Because when we went through the players, it was about 60 players to pick from, wasn't it, the other day? But before we get into the combined 11, we've asked you both to select your Premier League era Manchester City side and Premier League era Manchester United side. So let's have a look at your Manchester City side, Carl. So this is the best Premier League era Manchester City side in your opinion. Talk us through it.
Yeah, and obviously most of those players are over the last 12 years, but there's one in there, Ali Banabia. A lot of people didn't even know who he was. I said, this was my hero growing up. His partnership with Isle Berkovic, yeah, both of those two were incredible, and he gets in for that sentimental value. What a player he was. Every pro that I've ever spoken to from that era talks about Ali Banabia and what he could do. And I've had the pleasure of, chatting to him before, and when you meet one of those players, you think, wow. So he had to make it into my Man City 11 over incredible players. I know Sean Gota, Paul Dickoff, Raheem Sterling, all of these players.
I was going to say Raheem Sterling.
But Ali gets in there as well. I mean, look at that midfield. Just look at it. Incredible. And Ruben Diaz, yes, he's only been there a year, but I think that partnership with Company, just imagine.
No respect on Richard Dunn.
I'm sorry. I am sorry, but I just think that Ruben Diaz is and will become one of Man City's greatest defenders.
OK, so that is Kyle's ultimate Man City 11. Don't forget, this is from the Premier League era. So let's have a look at Flex's all-time Man United 11 from the Premier League era. Flex, this is what you've gone with. Talk us through it, because I imagine, again, a lot of difficult decisions here.
It's so difficult. If you look at Schmeichel, there's so many contenders at Manchester United. Of the obvious, Van der Sar, with what he done in a short space of time was unbelievable. But Schmeichel was there at the real foundations of getting Man United back to greatness. Gary Neville, for me, steady 7s and 8s throughout his whole career. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but Jamie Carragher with the famous quote of "Nobody wants to be a Gary Neville," right? But actually, if you're a young pro and you want to aspire to get consistency in your game, you do want to be like a Gary Neville. That's the spot-on thing for me. Jaap Stam's the interesting one because Vidic and Rio...
I was going to ask, Vidic seems to be one of the players that, jumps off the page in terms of not being there.
Yes, Vidic and Rio are actually the best partnership in the league that I've seen, not just at Man United. I understand that, but there was something about Stam, and even Sir Alex admitted this, that it was a mistake getting rid of him when he did. He had a bad injury, and they thought he was declining, and he wasn't. He was just such a top draw player. And what he achieved in a short space of time as well, I think his ceiling would have been higher than Vidic's if we would have kept him personally. So those two for me.
That's your back line. Midfield, I mean, obviously, great players in there. Beckham, though, another one that jumps off the page and not
really
there. Was that a tough one?
The only reason I did it was because Eric Cantona has to go in for me. So I had to rejig things because the reason I support Man United is because of Eric Cantona.
Love that.
But it was really difficult to drop Becks out of this. But Ronaldo was literally the best player in the world before he was even at his prime, whilst he was at Man United. Got his first Ballon d'Or there, 3 Premier Leagues in a row, Champions League, FA Cup, and some more. So he has to go in there. And obviously, Ryan Giggs' most decorated footballer.
OK, so that is Flex's team, that's Kyle's team. So what we're going to do now is try and pick an ultimate team they're going to agree on, which will be interesting, won't it? So first up, formation, what are we going with?
Well, there's plenty of attacking footballers in there. Obviously, all the Man City ones are going to get into our combined team in midfield. 4-3-3, I think it's got to be.
I think with the balance of players that we've got, a lot of attackers in there. And, we're going to have to allow a bit of space for you to get some in. So.
All right, 4-3-3. 4-3-3 works. Despite you picking 4-4-2 in your favour. So we're going to go for a
move it around
for a 4-3-3. Let's start with the goalkeeper then. Edison versus Schmeichel.
Obviously, the Brazilian. I actually listened to a podcast this morning. Peter Schmeichel was praising Edison, not just for his defensive skills, obviously in net, but his ability to play the ball as well. So when you're getting the praise from Peter Schmeichel, he makes it into the... No, it is Schmeichel. Come on, let's be completely honest.
You know this, Kyle. You know this. Peter Schmeichel is arguably the best keeper to ever even play in the Premier League. And with what he achieved at Man United, how commanding he was, how powerful he was. Yes, you could talk about back then distribution wasn't really a main factor of keepers, but Peter Schmeichel is up there as one of the best keepers.
One of the ultimate leaders, I would say.
Yeah, and also like the accolades. I mean, he won a Premier League Player of the Season, which is very rare for a keeper as well. UEFA Goalkeeper of the Year 3 times, World Goalkeeper of the Year twice. Many people regard him as the greatest ever Premier League keeper. So he's sticking him in.
Yeah,
There's the first one.
Argue with that.
I think what we can add to it as well, Manchester City legend.
Oh,
So obviously he played at
Well,
Man
when
City.
you sort of done and dusted, Andrew Cole did it, done and dusted, not really much going on, pop over there.
I mentioned that 3-1 win 20 years ago. Who was in net for Manchester City? Peter Schmeichel.
Get him out.
The next one's an interesting one, right back, because you've got Gary Neville and Kyle Walker. Now, what's interesting about this? Other way, whoever at the top.
All right, okay.
No worries. What's interesting about this is the role of the fullback has changed dramatically over the years. Obviously, back in Gary Neville's era, they tended to play a 4-4-2 and it was all about defending, whereas now, fullbacks have almost got to play as wingers. We've seen Trent, we've seen Cole. Bombing on is a big strength of theirs. So quite difficult to compare players of different eras when they're different players. But for the purpose of the combined 11, who do you think makes the cut?
For me, I think Kyle Walker could go down as one of England's greatest ever right-backs. I think what he's managed to do over the years in the national team, what he's done obviously at Manchester City, moving across from Tottenham, he wanted to go and win trophies, and that is what he's done. And he's been a mainstay at times. He's had to fight for his place. We saw when Cancelo came in, Kyle Walker spent a bit of time out of the team, and then all of a sudden Cancelo's now playing at left back because Kyle Walker's fought for that place and he's won it. And he'll go down in that conversation. Trent, Reece James, Kyle Walker, everyone's talking about these right backs. Kyle's been there and he's done it for such a long time. And I think that experience that he's got, for me, I think he goes in there for the pace, the power, and his ability to get down that wing as well.
His story's still being written. And I do rate Kyle Walker massively, unbelievable. But what I would say about Kyle Walker versus Gary Neville, right, is that there was a period in Kyle Walker's career when he's at Spurs, can he defend? Is he this? Is he that? A little bit inconsistent. We want to get the best out of him. And I keep talking about the consistency that this man has shown from minute one when he walked into the squad with the class of 92 all the way up until, 2011 when he was on his way out. The consistency of the guy, and I feel like he gets disrespected in terms of actually how good he was actually on the ball.
8 times Premier League winner.
His delivery was insane. You're talking about a right-hand side of Beckham and Neville, and Beckham's the one renowned for crossing and delivery, but Gary Neville's crossing and on-the-ball ability was absolutely
Need the decision, because a lot of players still to come.
There are a
We're
lot.
still on the second position.
I'd be happy with Gary Neville. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I would be happy because I agree with that consistency. So let's put
By the
Gary.
time Kyle Walker's finished his career, you never know.
And that's what I mean, his story's still being written. But for me right
now,
now, with what Neville achieved in his career from minute one right up until...
Okay.
Yeah.
Get him up then, let's get him up. Right,
When he wins the Champions League and the World Cup this year, he'll go in there.
Should we do both the centre-backs at the same time? Let's do a partnership then.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have a little bit of balance here.
Yes.
Maybe we can have a little bit. We could see our first City name and presumably it's going to be Vinny.
It's got to be, surely, because I think that he will go down as one of the greatest defenders the Premier League's ever seen. Yes, you've
Already
got...
has done,
I think he definitely is. Yes, you've got Rio. Yes, you've got Terry. You've got all these different players, and I think that he slots into that. And I think that him, combined with a Manchester United player, would be the ultimate centre-back partnership.
It's literally that.
Go on.
Obviously, the Rolls-Royce Rio.
Yeah.
But with what Carl just said, that was going to be my point. If these two were together in their prime in the same team, shutouts, complete
So
shutouts.
there's a total agreement then.
Total
those two.
agreement.
I agree with that. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Two
left centre back, right centre back, bothers?
He can be on the left. Ball playing centre back.
Well, then let's go to left back.
Not much debate
this is
here.
easy.
Feels like there's not much debate here.
Well, there was a lot of debate.
Two candidates if you want.
No offence to Gail Clichy, but it
None
feels
at
like
all.
much
There
debate.
was a lot of debate. I had to put this into one of my group chats. I said, I'm picking this team and I'm really struggling for a left back because we've had quite a few, obviously, over the years, but there's none that's standing out. And a lot of my friends said, yeah, if you actually think about it, they haven't been absolutely world class. Gail Clichy was Arsenal. I think of him as the Arsenal left back. At Manchester City, he just wasn't the same. So I think...
I had two.
Got a bit of debate.
Either or of those.
But Irwin made my all-time 11, so I'm going to go with Dennis Irwin at left back.
Okay, and Kyle agreeing with that. Great penalty taker, Dennis Irwin, wasn't he? Good
Yes,
penalty taker as well.
unbelievable.
I mean,
Both feet.
that back line is solid, isn't it? It is solid.
Very
I feel like
solid.
Dennis Irwin would have translated to the modern game really
Easily.
well
Easily.
in that more attacking, advanced wing-back
Ultimate
role
pro,
almost.
ultimate professional, they used to all
Yeah.
say, didn't they, about Dennis Irwin as well. Right, midfield. So you've got three midfielders. So let's try and agree on a midfield three. Just remind us of some of the City names you got, Kyle.
My hero, but I will agree he probably won't make it into this combine, so I'll put him down straight away. But how can you argue with Kevin De Bruyne, the best midfielder in the world right now, David Silva, one of the best Premier League midfielders we ever saw, and Yaya Toure could do everything these two could do, and he had everything else in his locker as well. I think the greatest African player to play in the Premier League, there's a debate between him and Drogba for me. I think it's Yaya.
4-time African Footballer of the Year.
Exactly.
And he captained his team to the AFCON
I think those three, it'd be very hard to argue, but I know Manchester United have got incredible midfielders.
Listen, we've got an array. These two here with Keane and Scholes. You ask your favourite midfielder's favourite midfielder who their favourite midfielder is, they'll tell you it's Paul Scholes. Yeah, don't know, ask Xavi, ask Pirlo, ask Zidane.
There is a lot of players that have played pro that have said the best person I've seen in Premier League. The best person I've seen in training.
You talk about dictating games,
and
controlling games, having a big say in games. Paul Scholes has to be in this, and Roy Keane as well. Arguably, you've got Robbo as well, but one of my
going into three here.
Right, so Kevin's out. He's still writing his story. Kevin's out. He's still doing it right now, I'd say. Yeah. Come on, David Silva, Yaya Toure.
4 into 3 here.
I'm going to be honest. Even before we did this, I'm willing to put one in because these two.
Who for you out of those two has to be in the team?
First name on the team sheet.
I'll just say Scholes for me. Personally.
I'd agree with that out of those.
So let's put Scholes up
there. And I'm really real uncomfortable with that, but I've got to move on something. I can't have it all my own way. I get it.
I think that Yaya. I know Man City. We love David.
I cannot believe we're not putting Roy Keane in this team.
Yaya's got to. I think Yaya's. So there's space for one more.
By the way, Kyle, are you going to tell Roy Keane that he's not in this team?
Roy Keane's got to be in there. I'll leave that to my mate Micah. Micah can do that one. Messi can do that. David Silva.
Sorry, it's between David Silva and Roy Keane, is it? Is that
what third place?
For me, it's not because I'm putting Keane and Scholes at the base, and my number 10's different as well.
Yaya can do everything. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, that Keane could do, and he can go forward and attack as well. I think he can. I think that Yaya could do everything defensively as well.
They did it for a lot shorter period of time as well, Yaya, than Roy Keane.
But in defence to Kyle and Manchester City, they're going to have that argument. Well, we could use that argument against Man City with a lot of their players because when Pep came in, didn't even fancy him.
Yeah.
Said, nah, I'm all right. Got rid of him at Barcelona. Said, nah, it's all right.
But it is Yaya. Right, this spot, David Silva, I think that in years to come, we'll look at the Premier League midfielders and David Silva.
Unbelievable player.
I think that he will go down as one of the best. I don't think he gets the respect. Maybe he does. Maybe it's this myth that he doesn't.
He's the top assister of all time.
Yeah, I do think that he should be in there for that, and I think that it'd be very hard to argue.
I'd rather you have Silva than Toure.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Flex, you would have David Silva, Scholes and Keane. That would be your three, would it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a great midfield.
And you would have Yaya, Silva and Scholes.
Yes, I definitely would.
Smithy, you're the neutral.
Yeah. Go to the adjudicator.
So you'd have David Silva.
Yep.
So you take Yaya out and put Keane in.
Yep.
Would you go for that or would you not, Carl?
I think that Yaya and David could go in there together. I do think it. I think that Yaya's got to. I think he does walk into that Manchester United team. I think he would have given Roy Keane a run for his money. I think.
All right. Well, there's certain forwards that I'm not going to budge on. To be fair, so if you have to have that, then.
So that's what you're saying. You're saying you'll go with David Silva if you don't budge on the. You're giving him this one. But
but there's other non-negotiables.
Big news there that.
Look at how lopsided this team is.
So Roy Keane doesn't make the combined 11, which I am surprised about. I've got to be honest.
We've got to even this board up a bit as well.
We have, yeah.
Even it up a bit because we're playing such a lopsided formation here. I cannot believe Roy Keane's not in the team.
I thought Kyle was going to. I thought Flex had a decent shout of David Silva, Keane, and Scholes in terms of the balance.
So unbelievable.
I thought that was a good balance, but Kyle was not budging on Yaya. Obviously, top player Yaya as well.
Sneak him in.
So you snuck him in. So let's go to Flex then first. Because I feel like he deserves the first. The
comments on this are going to be honestly. I don't want to look at social media.
Go on, just remind us of the forward players that you had then.
Right. So, if you're looking at Wayne Rooney, has to go in this team. He has to go in this team, but so does Cristiano Ronaldo. So, do you want them all at once, of who I'm just going to put?
So what about the man that got you into Manchester United, Eric Cantona? You betrayed your own boy.
I would just go over 3, but I can be respectful to say that Sergio Aguero, with probably the greatest foreign export into the league, other than Thierry Henry, unbelievable. So, and I know there's got to be a place for him. So I'm willing to sacrifice one of my 3.
What about another Man City legend and Man United
No.
legend?
No.
Tevez?
Look at Joe's face. No. Tevez, Joe?
No.
Welcome to Manchester.
West Ham legend, mate.
No. One or Tevez, Joe?
I mean, the less said about that, the better, I think.
Wow.
But obviously achieved great things at Manchester United.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, but nowhere near the calibre of the other 3 names we've got.
I agree.
got
I think Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney's got to be in his list.
I think Cristiano's got to be as well because he's Cristiano Ronaldo. Sergio Aguero. Again, I agree with everything you've said just there. Manchester City's all-time leading goal scorer. But as well, if there's any striker you'd want in a big moment, I think it would be Sergio Aguero. And I think that he could get into this team very easily. But obviously, Cantona, what a player. What
Unbelievable.
a special player at Manchester United.
And when United played that front 3 in that real sort of glory area where they were working Carlos Tevez, Rooney, Ronaldo, when they was intertwining, I could see Aguero, Rooney, Ronaldo.
Do you know what? As a 3, Aguero, Rooney, Ronaldo.
Unbelievable.
A frightening
That would be
prospect, isn't it?
ridiculous.
I think Aguero's got the best sort of goals to game ratio of any of those top 10. Better than Shearer, better than a Rooney.
Everyone who
better
played
than a Cole.
against City with him in their prime, nightmares of Sergio Aguero.
Yeah.
You have to say that. He
Especially
was such a
United,
fantastic player.
honestly.
So he's the number 9. He has to.
Okay, so you were putting him in, yeah?
He's number 9. Because Rooney was potentially, I was going to try and make an argument to put him as the number 10 over this guy because Rooney was so good. But we fell back. I can't have it my own way. I'm going to go Ronaldo on the left and we're going to put Rooney floating about.
where he wants.
Can I do something very controversial?
Go on.
Oh, my God.
He's
I don't know if I'm happy with Yaya or for Roy Keane. I don't know.
You see that? His phone's probably buzzing off. Vibrating. They say, Carl, what have you done?
No, I'm having doubt. I am having, just going back on it.
He's had doubts.
How
He's
can we
called
not
it.
put Roy Keane?
If the Man City fan
See you
is having
later,
doubts.
Yaya. Sorry,
So this is a late substitution.
Fantastic player, but your own fan base has called it.
We've got to ask Kyle, where's this come from? He has looked, do you know what, since he's left Roy Keane off, he's a very confident guy. He's looked nervous, isn't he? He's looked nervous. The way he was explaining it, Aguero's like, Aguero's a good player. No, where's this come from?
I've just been looking at it and I'm thinking of the balance. Of
Even the close-up of Roy Keane is closer up than the others. He's looking at you.
It's intense. No, I am thinking of the balance of the squad, and I do think that I mean, you could have either or, and I think that Yaya, I genuinely believe that Yaya or Roy Keane, Yaya could do so much more than Roy Keane, but Roy Keane, what he could do, which was a lot, by the way, he did it so well. He did everything. Again, ultimate pro on the pitch. Maybe not in some of the tackles that he put in, but just when you needed a job done, he would give you 100% every single game.
You think of that Juventus away, Champions League.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Big moments.
Lead up, big moment, big game player. And again, like I said about Gary Neville, about people forget how good these guys were actually on the ball.
Yeah.
Roy Keane could play.
Yeah, I mean, 5-time Premier League Team of the Year.
100%. He wasn't just a guy going around kicking people. Roy Keane could play as well as lead, as well as step in and get into Vieira to stop him bullying Gary Neville. He could do it all.
Yeah,
could do
I
it
mean,
all.
that's a good point, actually, because people look at that duo and think Scholes was the technical one,
Yeah.
range of passing goals, and Keane was the hard man. But Keane was so much more than that.
Powerful,
the way that he
travel
read
with
the
the
game and the
ball.
way that he controlled, the
Unbelievable.
leader that he was.
So we've got an 8-3 split there.
So that is the final.
Did say 3 players.
Team. Let's have a look at. There it is. 8 Man United players. 3 City
we
players.
should do the manager. We should do
We should do the
Guardiola
manager.
and Sir Alex Ferguson.
Oh, gosh. This reminds me of being 10 years old in the playground, really trying hard to force a Man City player into the conversation.
There they are. Two incredible managers.
I mean, yes, I think the 2 greatest managers we've ever seen in the game. A lot of Liverpool fans won't be happy with that. A lot of probably Nottingham Forest fans won't be happy with that either. But I do think that they are 2 of the greatest managers we've ever seen. But he's the master. Sir Alex Ferguson, he is the master of it all. I think what he's done, what he's achieved. Guardiola can get to that level. I do think
Again, the
that's
story's
totally
still been written, and what Guardiola did in terms, he changed football. When he hangs up his managerial Hugo Boss sweater that he wears, he will go down in history. Other brands available. There will be books written on his philosophy and what he did in football, and he's got the chance to surpass Sir Alex's titles 100%. But
I think if Guardiola was there for the longevity that Sir Alex Ferguson was there, then I think he would be challenging for the amount of titles. I mean, look at the records he's broken since he's got to Manchester City. That Centurion season where pretty much every record available in the Premier League.
And how he's done
a set majority of them, he beat them all.
He's done it in so many leagues as well, but with so many different players, so many squads. Pep Guardiola. But obviously, we're looking at from a Manchester perspective. So you're both in agreement, Sir Alex. So there is confirmation, as you can see, of the Premier League's all-time combined Manchester City and Manchester United 11, including the manager. Very decent team, that. Got to talk about the game quickly. How's it going to go?
Well, Man City haven't won against Manchester United in the derby at the Etihad since 2018, I think it is. So that they have come to the Etihad, they've shown up. We saw what they did under Ollie. I think the big thing is, obviously, new manager. Will he be able to get the same out of those players? Are Manchester United the same team as they were even last season? I don't think so. And I think that Manchester City, the way that they're on, the run that they're on, yes, they're without some of the defenders. I do believe that this City team is just too strong for Manchester United. Famous last words, when you've got Cristiano, anything could happen. I think Cavani is possibly back as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
I haven't seen him. I forgot he played for us.
Yeah. So I think that it's a derby. Form goes out of the window, but Man City are so strong, and I don't think any Manchester United fan can even argue that.
No, they are so strong, but there's an actual added bit of pressure, and some may say that it works against Manchester United because City are on it now, but Liverpool are waiting. And you can't afford to drop a couple of points in this. Although it will hurt us helping.
It's a lose-lose, isn't it?
It is, but we've got to take care of ourselves. But for me, we can definitely go there and hurt City. I look at how people are playing against City right now, against Everton, flattered to deceive, got very lucky. I look at Southampton, home and away, got a draw against you. Palace, obviously. There's ways of playing against City, and you need runners, and you need to be good in transitional moments. And I think if we can do that, we can hurt you.
Yeah, okay,
you draw against Watford. I'm sorry.
Chances galore. That's not going to keep happening. We're going to start
exclusively on City. Talking about any United moves, which is just endless at the moment.